What is up, everybody? We are back for yet another episode of Palm City Chucks. We are so excited to be back, this time with some improved audio. We're learning, we're getting better every week, and we appreciate you all sticking with us.
Yes.
But let's get right into it. College football. We talked about Army Tulane. We talked about Boise State UNLV. Let's jump right into a game where Chris and I were just so very wrong. So wrong. Iowa State, Arizona State. I mean, Arizona State came out popping. First half, crazy. Final score 45-19. Half of those points for Iowa State came in the fourth quarter when Arizona State started letting some of those seniors and younger guys get a taste of the big game. Arizona State didn't score at all in the fourth, maybe once or twice in the third, still put up 45. I mean, this game was absolutely cooked in the first half.
Yeah.
Not a chance at all.
Yeah, it was the run game. Scatabo went off, dude. He had a run in this one that literally reminded me of the famous Marshawn Lynch run. Like, it took 5-6 guys, and even then, they weren't getting them. In this case, it was more so just absolutely horrible tackling, but, I mean, the guy's no doubt tough to bring down. He's very elusive for his size, and, he had 170 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. And like you said, this was like first half stats, basically. Then it was garbage time, and you know what? They were resting for the playoffs because, they're in.
They're in.
But yeah, it was not what we expected at all. I mentioned how Iowa State's a scrappy bunch, like real gritty. They had no fight in them in this one. I couldn't have been more wrong. Arizona State, they took it right away and they just ran with it and, never let them back in. Gave up some garbage time points, and other than that, they're on two different levels, And Arizona State was hot going into this one, but yeah, I didn't expect this outcome.
I definitely didn't expect this outcome. I was definitely thinking close game.
Yeah.
Certainly not a blowout like this. I mean, it was Arizona State all the way, and as you said, they're in, and they earned it. I mean, they went out there and dominated the Big 12 this year, so Congrats to them. But let's move on to the SEC championship game. Georgia, Texas.
Part 2.
What do you got, sir? Yeah, part 2, you're right.
Well, same result. It was a little different getting there. But yeah, Georgia won this one 22-19. This was another overtime game, too, which is crazy after Georgia had 8 OTs the week before. But yeah, I mean, Georgia won it. When it's all said and done, we saw Beck go down. That's a little concerning moving forward, that you could tell they didn't trust the backup to throw the ball. Now, he's going to have some time before the playoffs start. They're going to need to throw the ball. I'm sure we'll see more of that, but, I don't know what to expect going forward with Georgia because we didn't see the kid throw, really. So, I mean, his first drive back in, he threw like a 15-yarder down the middle, through some traffic, looked pretty good. I thought they were going to be in good hands, thought it might spark them. It definitely did spark them because this offense was, sputtering out. They weren't vibing. And then he comes in and, it changed. And they got right back in the game and, took it from Texas all said and done. But, yeah, curious to see because, like I said, I really don't have an opinion on this guy. So, yeah, curious to see how he does in the playoffs against more great teams. But yeah, Georgia won it like we thought. Defense did good, only giving up 19. Got to be happy with that. And yeah, and these two, which we'll get into what the bracket looks like, but these two teams, opposite ends, there is a chance we see part 3.
Oh, yes. And I mean, just to kind of talk about what you hit on a lot there, the quarterback play. I mean, they looked better after the backup came in. He may not have thrown the ball too much, but here's the deal. What has Carson Beck really been providing for Georgia so far this year? Yeah. And it's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Specifically in that game, I mean, he was like 140-ish yards, a decent completion percentage, but like no exciting plays, no touchdowns. I mean, no picks either. Like, the guy wasn't taking chances, maybe because of his interception history. But yeah, I think he was playing a little soft. and not taking the chances you need to take in the SEC title game.
Yeah, my point being, like you said, this kid's got some time before they've got to play their first game, and I feel like with Kirby Smart to coach him up and build the confidence in the players and the coaching staff in this kid, I think he'll be able to produce at least what Carson Beck was.
Yeah, I think that's
is
fair.
the way I see it.
Yeah,
That's the way it always is for Georgia. The quarterback doesn't have to be a star, and most of the time it never is. Carson Beck was supposed to be probably the best that's been there in a long time. I mean, they had Stetson Bennett, and
it's just game manager after game manager. I mean, you got to go back to Stafford till they had like a difference maker.
Exactly.
But yeah, you're right, and you could see that confidence Kirby has in him too. Even after the game, like they were talking with the reporters and whatnot, and he was like tearing up, like he's really happy for this kid, and he definitely has his back 100%. But yeah, curious to see what all he can learn in a week's time. Get ready for the biggest game of his life again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's move on to the ACC. Clemson, SMU.
No.
Not too happy about that result?
No, I'm not. I think it really hurt the bracket, which again, we'll get to it. But yeah, I think it really messed up the bracket. But yeah, we had Clemson win this one 34-31. A game they were dominating most of the way. This was on at the same time as the Big Ten game. So I was in on the Big Ten, but when I could, commercial breaks, all that good stuff, I was checking it out. And yeah, Clemson, they were up big in this one and kind of took their foot off the gas, it appears, and SMU came creeping back. I was hoping they could pull it off, but yeah, no luck there. They did have a chance.
And Clemson had to make a
game-winning kick.
Hell of a field goal. Yeah. It was deep too to win this. Props to that kicker, seriously. College kickers, anything can happen. So anytime you see something from deep in college, it's honestly awesome.
Yeah.
Game winner,
ice in the veins over there.
Yep. But no, I was obviously in the same situation. Didn't catch quite as much of this one as the Penn State game, as the fans may also have guessed. But yeah, I mean, gosh, I did want SMU to win this quite a bit.
Yes.
Well, as we've said quite a few times, we'll get to it. I am quite curious where you think the bracket got messed up because of this. I'm excited to talk about that. But before we get there, let's talk about the Big Ten game. Let's talk about the Big Ten game.
That was a fun game, dude.
Fun is one way to describe it.
As a third party, I loved this game. It was very entertaining. I mean, it started out, and Penn State really impressed me for starters. But at the start of this game, Oregon went up, like, pretty good. They were up 2 scores, and, Penn State hadn't stopped them at all. And it was starting to feel like a game where, but it was starting to feel like a game where Penn State might just roll over. And I was fearful of that. I wanted a good, entertaining game, and I was pulling for them to win. Shout out to the fiance. Gotta support. But yeah, it was looking like it could be over early, and they just did not stop fighting. To your point, obviously the defense struggled. We had a final of 45-37. So they gave up 45 points to Oregon. Ooh, mama. But every single time this defense absolutely needed a stop, they got the stop. When they went down 2 possessions, they got the stop, got back in the game. Even at the very end of the game, absolutely needed a stop. Even if Oregon was getting a first down at this point, it was detrimental to Penn State. What do? They get the stop. Like, this team just had so much fight in them, and and the defense, obviously not great, gave up that many points, but they never stopped fighting, and they always managed to give the offense a chance to keep this game, in flux. But yeah, it was a great game. I loved it. I wish it never ended. I wish it was a 120-minute game. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, tough loss.
It was tough.
Tough loss. Penn State I mean, big game, James. What more can we expect, really? 0 for his last 12 against AP top 5 teams. So, uh, stat just keeps growing, getting worse. But honestly, I can't even say this one in particularly is really on him. Although at some point having the defense ready to play, there's some part there. But offense really, really impressed me. I mean, coming into this game, I thought the defense was going to be solid, and I thought the offense was going to be the question mark. Could they score enough to win this game? And if you told me before this game kicked off that Penn State put up 37 points, I think they're winning this game 9.5 times out of 10. I mean, 95% of the time. So, really impressed with the offense there. Hopefully they can keep it up going into these playoffs. If they do, they could do some things because I still believe in the defense. They had a very off game. There is no doubt about that. Oregon was ripping right through them, especially at the beginning of the game. I mean, I feel like they scored 3 touchdowns in 7 minutes of possession or something like that. It was right down the field. No resistance. Yeah. But Penn State has always had a solid defense, and I'm hoping this is just a hiccup that we move on from, we learn from, and when we hit playoff time, it is straight up lockdown defense. So that's what I'm hoping for.
It was almost a good one to get out of the way before the playoffs started. Like, kind of humbles the defense a bit, makes them, the pressure's on now. Like you said, was it a hiccup? Is this what we're gonna do? Kind of thing. And I'm leaning towards it was more of a hiccup. Which, again, we will get to the bracket, people. But I love your path. I think you got a good shot at making a deep run. But yeah, that game itself, amazing. Can't say enough about it. Yeah. Loved it. Just not that happy with the outcome.
Yeah, exactly. I would very much so have preferred to be the Big Ten champion and not have allowed newcomer Oregon to take that title.
Yes. Yeah, that is frustrating.
I am happy mostly with how the team played, barring the defense. Obviously, we discussed offense, very impressive, and happy to be there. I mean, top two, and quite a tough conference this year. So we'll see what we can do with that. So with that, let's get to the bracket. What is this bracket looking like? Let's do a little quick rundown here.
Yes.
We got 8 Ohio State at home against 9 Texas. Sorry, Tennessee.
No, Tennessee.
Excuse me. It's Tennessee. Two T names. My bad.
If you only saw his scratch, people, you'd just be happy he said a team with a T in it.
This is a true statement. I do have some true chicken scratch. Those, if you know, you know.
Handwriting. It's doctor handwriting.
So we got Ohio State at home against Tennessee. Winner will then go to Eugene and take on number 1 Oregon. We got 5 Texas. Home game against 12 Clemson. Winner going to take on Arizona State University. We got 7 Notre Dame with the home game against Indiana. Yikes. Winner will then go and take on Georgia. And then you got 6 Penn State at home against 11 SMU. Yikes. And then the winner will go to Boise State. Yikes. I missed an important yikes there, and since I really was emphasizing some of that, for Arizona State getting a bye, Texas or Clemson? Texas. Probably going there? Yikes. I mean, went through that. I'd like to take that and go right to where did this get messed up when Clemson won their championship game? What should have happened?
So I personally not impressed with Clemson at all this year. So many games where they should have won, or it was a good team versus a good team, and they just got absolutely blown out of the water. I just didn't think they earned this. Obviously, I'm wrong, because they're the winner of the ACC, so of course they earned it. So they're in. But then to also add SMU, a team that had a weak schedule when you look at it, but an ACC team, very good in their own right, and they got in. But to leave a team out like Bama, it's just like it's frustrating to me because they're clearly better. That being said, I do like that the committee took into account the teams that made their conference games. Like they have that extra game to deal with. Alabama didn't have that. So all that being said, I think they probably did the right thing. I'm just not happy with it. So I don't know that I would say it's jacked up. It's just I don't like it.
Oh, I mean, I'm mostly of the same, but I absolutely believe, given the structure, they did the right thing here.
Right.
If they set this bracket before the championship games, which, if you think about it, for a lot of this seeding, whether teams get in or out, other than like grabbing a title versus not, I believe they absolutely did the right thing. I don't think it should have like a very huge bearing. Like they are getting there playing another great team. Bama didn't even earn that in their own conference.
Right.
I get it. Tough conference. Definitely tougher than the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
But at some point, you got to be like, they did lose 3 games.
Right.
They
like I
lost
said,
3 games.
considering how everything shook out, I think they did the right thing. It's just and I'm sure you would agree, the top 12 teams aren't on this sheet of paper in front of us.
Yeah, given what happened, I think they did the right thing. I think our disappointment comes from Clemson earned their auto bid by winning the ACC game.
Yeah.
Because I wanted SMU in this playoff.
Yes.
I did.
We said it last episode. We were both very adamant about that because we knew this would happen if not. And it's just frustrating in that regard. I want to bring up another thing with the bracket because there's a lot of talk already saying conference winners should be granted a playoff berth, but not the bye weeks. What are your thoughts there? So basically they're saying Boise and Arizona State should have made the playoffs, but not with a bye.
I mean, gosh, it feels like I'm going to go a little bit back on what I just said about not considering the championship games. But if we're going into, say, the way I would think about it, field mostly set going into championship weekend, going and winning those games earns you the bye. I think that's fair. If you are the true national champion and you are the best team in college football, and you will go win that first game, and then you'll just go smack up on the second team, right? Because they suck in your mind. They shouldn't have had the bye. So go win your first game. Sure, maybe a little bit tougher, but then you should have a cakewalk in the second round, right? So
that's fair. That's fair. I just know it's being talked about. Wanted to hear your take on it. And
what's your take?
I mean, I kind of feel similar to that. If you think you belong, prove it. If you think you should have got it, in this case, Penn State, Texas, probably front runners should have got those 2 byes. So go earn it. And you know what? The way it's lined up, I think both will.
They both have the opportunity. They are both.
Texas got Clemson, then Arizona State. Penn State has SMU, then Boise. So you literally have the chance to prove you should have been where Boise was, or you should have been where Arizona State was.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I honestly haven't heard that take before, and I think it's spot on. I mean, it's kind of stupid to go about. This team earned it; they won their conference. Now, if you feel like you should have had the bye, prove it by beating their ass.
and the big thing is, you didn't hear jack shit about that until those teams went and lost their conference championship. That's when they decided to make it a problem and bring it up. And so surprising, right?
Yeah,
but
that's true.
You did bring up Penn State's path there. So I want to talk about that, and I also want to talk about James Franklin in that vein, right? Because I've talked about in many episodes how I'm not a fan. I don't think he's the guy who's going to bring us a chip. First thing, he's got his chance. As you said, amazing path. Mm-hmm. And if we get through those first 2 games as we should, it's looking at worst Georgia, we'll say. Probably. Right. Maybe I don't see Notre Dame as much of a threat as Georgia. They're obviously a very good team, but I would put Georgia above them personally. And I'm still not – I don't want to play Georgia. We've said that multiple times, not the team I want to match up against. But this is a year where it certainly seems like, okay.
Yeah, of all the Georgia years,
we got a chance.
This is the one you want.
Right? Yeah. So with that, Franklin's got his chance to prove everybody wrong. He will shut me up. He will shut everybody up forever because a national championship at Penn State does not come around very often. So getting one, honestly, whatever, man. Everything else that happened is in the past. Everything that happens in the future will be quickly in the past if it goes awry. That's how it will be. But he got lucky to even have this opportunity. Penn State got lucky getting into the Big Ten championship game with Ohio State dropping that game to Michigan. Shouldn't happen. Stain on Ohio State forever. So,
yeah,
gets lucky, gets into the
Big
Ten championship. Gets lucky, gets into the Big Ten championship. Okay, he's got another opportunity to go and win a Big Ten. Doesn't do that, but it's a respectable loss, right? So can't really take too much from that. Gave it a good run. But this playoff run here, these first two games, must wins for me.
Yeah.
If he does not win these first two games, chopping block. Please, Sandy Barber, think about it. That's our AD. But, please think about it. Please.
Yeah.
Because...
No, I agree. And you'll definitely be favored in both, too.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind you're supposed to win those two. But to your point about even just being lucky for the opportunity to play in the Big Ten championship game, that was huge. So imagine it's Indiana instead, and you guys are flipped. Then you have to play Notre Dame and Georgia instead of SMU, Boise State. That's a huge difference. And
it is.
It's all because of the luck of getting in, basically, even though you guys had the same record. But yeah, that's a good point, and I think your feelings are valid about it. I mean, you got to win these two games. Absolutely. Yeah. What happens when you play Georgia or Notre Dame, maybe, I mean, we'll see. That doesn't matter as much when you're a Final Four team.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. If he gets through the first two and then a respectable showing in the semis, job's probably safe. I can't complain too much. Pretty good year for Penn State. But he better get there. Get there.
Yep.
For real.
And another luck thing for you. Ohio State's on the other side, buddy. Take a deep breath. You won't have to play them until the title game if you guys get there.
If we get to the title game, I want it to be Oregon or Ohio State. I want it to be Ohio State, obviously.
Yeah.
A Penn State-Ohio State national championship game.
I don't know if you want that as bad as you're saying you do.
No, I do.
Dude.
I do.
Okay.
Okay. No, seriously. Let's look at the other options, right? ASU would be great. That is not going to happen.
Yeah, it's like
respectfully. They've got to play likely.
Yeah, just rule out them and Clemson off rip.
Yeah, exactly. So the options are Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State, Oregon. Honestly, all about the same in terms of I don't want to play you. So to be able to go up against Ohio State then, I know what James Franklin's records looks like against them. I get it. But the atmosphere in that game would be elite. And if that is the game where the tide turns, come on. All of Ohio State's bragging rights ever against Penn State go away in one game.
It's worth the
chance. One game. Yeah. So, and if it doesn't happen, what do they get to say? They beat us again.
Yeah.
Nothing new. So.
Oh, you did? That's funny. But yeah, I didn't even realize this till just now, but yeah, that half of the bracket is gassed up compared to the other half.
Oh yeah, no, the other half is so much weaker than the
it's
than
not
the
even
other side.
Funny.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Ohio State, Tennessee in the first round, definitely a better game than anything in the first two. Yeah. I'd even say Texas, Clemson is better than Notre Dame, Indiana. So
yeah, close, but yeah. But yeah, Tennessee, Ohio State.
So you could argue either way.
That game, I'm so excited for, and
yeah,
and then winner of that takes on Oregon. Like I mentioned to you earlier, Tennessee chance to take out these Big Ten guys. I mean, we'll see. The opportunity's there. I think they're in the same realm as far as talent.
Yeah.
As both Oregon and Ohio State. So definitely possible. I mean, to do both.
I think their quarterback
back to back,
might
tough,
be too young for the limelight. That is what
Yeah.
I think's going to happen here.
Well, hey, and we talk about these college kids and the pressure. I
Yeah.
mean, this is talk about pressure. It's up. If you're a kicker for any one of these teams, oh,
And the thing is, especially for the Ohio State Tennessee game, and why I feel quite confidently Ohio State will win that game. Is the last time Ohio State took the field, they shit the bed in the biggest environment of the year there.
Look at that smile.
I do not. Yeah, obviously happy about it, but so I could see Tennessee low-key getting steamrolled. I think Ohio State is going to come out
Yeah.
slinging.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely going to come out firing. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
curious to see, too, a lot of these teams haven't played in weeks.
Hmm.
Like, by the time these games take place, like, talk about a
Yep.
bye week, they've had 2 bye weeks stacked up. So you got to kick the
Yep.
rust. I'm curious to see the start of these games. Like, are they going to come out firing, or is it going to take a half quarter to warm up for these teams? But yeah, we'll see. And it's all so exciting. I love that this is a thing. I just can't wait for the games to start. Which we're looking at 12:20 is the first game for these. So we
Yeah.
still got a ways to wait. We'll do our picks on our next episode next week. But if you're good with the bracket, we do have Army-Navy game this week.
You're right, Army-Navy game.
Yeah.
Take it from there, buddy. Lead us off.
So I'm going Army. I'm not going against them again. After that Tulane showing, oh man. Which I was doing a little digging on Navy, and Tulane shut them out. So Tulane knows how to stop that. We're going to run the ball every play offense. Why did
Yep.
Army destroy them? Like, it's crazy. But that was just telling to me that, hey, they have the similar style offense. Army's a lot better at it. So,
yeah,
I'm going Army.
Exact same logic, and why I went with Army. Same style of play, played the same team.
Yep.
One of them beat the crap out of them. The other got dominated by them. So,
Yep.
just the easy comparison there. I got Army, and
Yes,
what
sir.
might not be a close game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, big Navy guy. So,
You've had your
over
fun.
Army anyways. Over Army anyways.
You've had your fun. Many
I know.
years does Navy come
Yeah.
out on top there.
And then Air Force is just fun, to
I'm
see
an Air
them
Force
be good
guy.
every once in a while.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm definitely an Air Force guy. But yeah, they were fun the last like 5 years or so. Like they were stringing
Yeah.
some together. But then this year, yeah, I think the fall off has begun. So I'll see you in 10 years.
10? That might be
Yeah.
a little soon, buddy. Yeah.
Oh man, you even doing me like that with my freaking academy team? What is this?
Yeah. Come on, me. That was soft.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
With that, let's move on to the NFL. Recap
That's-
the rest of the games from last week. We already talked Packers-Lions.
Yeah.
Just gonna say it again. Lions
run
win.
us through. Recap us.
Lions win 34-31. Final score. Thank you, Packers. We'll see you later. Sweep. Hey,
You might see them later. That's a playoff
I know.
team.
I know, and the problem is beating the same team when they're a good team 3 times in the same year is very tough to do. Very tough to
Yes.
do.
This
So
is
I'd
true.
prefer that we didn't, but obviously having beaten them twice, I have all the confidence in the world that we could do it.
Right.
It is just difficult. Anyways, let's talk football.
That's
Brown Steelers. Let's start there. Rematch from 2 weeks ago. The snow game. The
Yeah.
Browns came out on top. This one in Pittsburgh, much different. Jameis did not look quite as excellent, even though clearer weather wasn't quite as good. Russ looked good. Steelers defense looked good. I mean, Russ is unbelievable. I cannot believe what I am seeing out of this guy. I mean, I really thought he was washed. I really
Yeah.
did. And don't get me wrong, he showed a kind of some signs of life last year a little bit
Yeah,
with
he
Denver
did.
in his second year there. His first year there was atrocious. I mean,
Yeah, it was. But yeah,
gross.
you're right. His last year there, he looked a lot better. And I forget who the quarterback comparison was. I want to say it was Lamar because it was bold. Like it was literally like um, compared Russ's stats last year in Denver to an MVP's stat line or whatever, and Russ was right there. Like we gave him a lot of undeserved hate last year, but like you said, it was mostly about the years prior, where
Yeah.
we thought the fall off was happening. But yeah, he's still got it. This Steelers team is absolutely no joke. I mean, the defense arguably the best in the league, and yeah, the offense is it's firing. I mean, the run game's back, and Russ is taking care of the ball, and one of the best deep play quarterbacks we've seen in our generation, and he still has that too. So yeah, it's well rounded. I like the way the team's built. Yeah, they're a good team. This is what should have happened last time they played the Browns. I and that was interesting too because going into it, we knew the snow, and I would still think that would help Pittsburgh. Like it's
Oh
weird how
yeah.
that shook out,
Yep.
but yeah, either way, they got their revenge, and yeah, they're just no joke.
Yep. Nope. That's so true. That they're not at all. I don't know how I could have ever believed at the beginning of the year that a Tomlin team would be just straight mediocre. That is bad judgment on my part, and I am sorry, Mike Tomlin. I will not do it again. 'Cause you all are excellent, and you do not have the talent on your offense, especially
Yeah,
to be playing as
yeah.
well as you are.
Nobody elevates a team like him. We've said
Nope.
that. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I mean, he really gets the most out of his guys. It doesn't matter who they are. But yeah, I
Yep.
agree. I owe him an apology as well. I had him a game above 500. They're gonna be better than that.
They already are, I think.
Yeah, they already
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah.
That's true. Already are.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
a
so
few weeks left in the bank.
yep, crazy, crazy. Well, let's move on to the Kirk revenge game, or attempt
Ooh.
at a revenge game is the best way to put that. 42-21 final score. Vikings dominated.
Bro, they did it to us again.
I know.
When are we gonna learn?
I felt really confident about this one because the Vikings. Well, I was going to say, gets into that a little bit. The Vikings have been looking quite iffy, and this is the week where they decided to be like, hot damn, we are right back in our first 4 or 5 weeks of the year form. Sam
Yep.
Darnold threw for like 375, 5 touchdowns.
tutties,
Jordan
yeah.
Addison getting 3 touchdowns. Jefferson getting 2.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what is going on there? And then on the other side of the ball, you got Kirk, who is he is struggling this year. He really is.
Yeah, he hasn't had a touchdown in 4 weeks.
It's
and-
been a minute.
Yeah, and has had 4+ interceptions over that span too. I mean, and that's like I talked about in last week's episode. That's why I picked them. It was starting to feel like a make or break, like for the season. Like absolutely need this game, and then yeah, the revenge game on top of it. I was feeling good about this pick, and for them to get doubled up 42-21, wow. Yeah, another
Yep.
another way wrong one on our part. But yeah, I mean, you said it. Vikings were looking iffy, and boy did they bounce back. 5 tutties for Darnold, and
Just
yeah, it was a career game for him. And I mean, not to take anything away from everything else he's done this year, but definitely his best career game. And they're firing now. They're immediately one of the top threats again after seeing a performance like that.
I know, and I just needed to stop because I don't need that Week 18 game to
Yeah.
be for the NFC North. That just doesn't need to happen. Or one of us is probably going to get the 1 and the other one's going to get the freaking 5. Like
Yeah.
that is such a big swing. Not to discredit the Eagles, obviously they'd be in there. I don't know how the math works out if all of us ended up with 2, but
Yeah, who
Um,
knows?
yeah, there's a lot to happen before that, but you get what I'm saying. I
Right.
don't need the consequences like that on that game. Vikings, please just drop one more in these next couple weeks, and Lions, continue to win, and we'll be good. But it's getting tiring. I've really expected them to drop a few these past weeks, and
Yeah,
they refuse to
man.
lose.
Yeah, they
Refuse
do.
to lose.
I mean, and this
Credit
has
to
been
them.
this has been a theme. Excuse me, with this team going back to last year too. I mean,
Mhm.
they win every single one possession game. Like they
Oh
are
yeah,
never on the other side of that. It's
Kevin
crazy,
O'Connell
and
special, man.
he really is. And then on the flip side, then you have games like this where they're just blowing teams out of the water. It's like they have like championship DNA going there. Like that's things that championship teams do, and they're doing it. Not to say I'm picking them. I'll probably pick against them every other pick this year and be wrong. But yeah, it's just amazing what they're able to do.
Yep, yep. Now let's move on and talk about your Eagles.
Ooh, if we
22-16
must.
final against the Panthers. Talk me through the emotions you were feeling while viewing that cinema.
Yeah, cinema it was. Um, yeah, no popcorn in this one. Uh,
I was eating popcorn.
you were, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I said it last week. This game scared me. The Panthers were playing good football. Eagles love to choke one every year. I thought maybe this was it. And we managed to scrape by. I mean, we were a Leggett catch away from losing this game.
Yeah, no,
And-
Leggett should have caught that. I want to be clear.
yeah.
He should have caught that. That
Oh,
should,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You
I mean,
are
you
heard,
would've had
sir,
time-
and I'm with you. We would have had 40
Yeah.
seconds.
yeah.
And the way Hurts played too, concerning. I mean, I love that this is Saquon's team. I've said it a million times, and it needs to continue to be. Like the offense needs to go through him. But that being said, we need to throw the ball better than that. I mean, he had barely over 100 yards passing, no big plays. AJ Brown had 4 targets. Like, it doesn't look right. And this, mind you, is a game without Goddard again too. So you could take his whatever 6, 7 targets we're used to seeing, and they should go to Smitty and AJ. And yeah, it's not like they went to Calcaterra either. I mean, he had the touchdown, but I think he had like maybe 2 other targets, something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, in the end, we won the game. But to go through it, break it down, early in this game, it was already looking dicey off rip. I mean, we
Yep.
did our classic offense and defense, take a quarter to warm up, see what they're running so we can adjust, all that good stuff. And I'm just like, all right, it's all good. Like keeping the family calm. Calm down. It's okay. There's time. This is what we do. It doesn't matter that it's the Panthers. Like, we're not just going to beat every team by 50. And yeah, so I was calm for a lot of it. But yeah, as the fourth quarter rolled around and it was still like, we haven't put them away yet, it was starting to get nerve-wracking. And yeah, it came down to Leggett dropping a ball. That's what upsets me most. Like, we didn't earn this win. Like, we
Nope.
very well shoulda, coulda, woulda lost this. And I'm very glad we didn't, because that's embarrassing. And I hate doing that at home, too. Like, if you're going to drop this game, let it be in Carolina. Like, don't frickin' drop this at home. I bought those tickets. They're ridiculously expensive. Don't lose to the Panthers at home. But yeah, I'm glad it's done. It's over with. We came out on top. But yeah, it was craziness. And I'm sure you want to talk about, there was some Eagles drama that followed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to set the stage here for you really quick. So first off, I was so disappointed watching the end of that game when Leggett dropped that ball for a few reasons. One, have him in fantasy, so that hurt a little bit. Second, gosh, he had every opportunity to go and give the Eagles a loss right there. Just, gosh, really tough. But honestly, you said it yourself. You got to throw the ball better, and you're not the only one thinking it.
Right.
And you got guys on the team thinking it, and they are talking about it. A.J. Brown, very unpleased with the current state of the Philadelphia Eagles passing offense. He made sure to make that known to the
Yes.
media. And then you got Brandon Graham, a guy who I would not expect to do something
Yeah,
like this,
right.
to say the least. A great
It's
leader
true.
for them is what I thought, but after this, I feel like I got to rethink everything because this was a really egregious breach of confidence of the team. I thought for him to go on his radio show, open up saying that Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown should have solved it internally, and blah blah blah, only for him to then continue to ramble on saying 1-11, acting like we don't know who those people are, and that one of them, very obviously pointing towards AJ Brown, has the problem but needs to be willing to talk to Jalen Hurts.
Yes,
and
he's
doesn't
preaching
seem to be willing to do
keep
so.
it in house as he talks about it to the public.
And so it breaks it down. But yeah, I set the stage. How you feeling about that?
Yeah,
that's quite a bit of drama at the end of the year.
Yeah, used to that. I mean, my gosh, you start 10-1 last year, and then a locker room collapse. Yeah, we're a little ahead of schedule. Got 11 wins now. We're a little later in the season, but yeah, let's try and derail it. Oh man, frustrating. But I have to say, I was mad at BG for maybe 5 minutes. That's my guy. I love that guy. I mean, obviously this was not his intent at all. He loves the Eagles. We love him. He does not want to derail us or get us off course. And you listen to his point. His whole point was this should have been kept in house. But it's just the very saying that in the public that it's like, dude, now you're taking it out of house. But I feel like he didn't think of that. He just didn't think it through. He just said what popped to his mind. And yeah, you can't do that when you're representing, a team, a city, all that good stuff. You have to think before you speak. We learned this in kindergarten. Come on. But yeah, and to his point, I think he's right. AJ needs to talk to Hurts about this. They need to work this out in-house, and it's not like I truly don't believe Hurts is going to keep the ball away from our best receiver because there's a beef going on. Which, for the record, we know nothing about this supposed beef. There were no real hints of it either. Production's been down for AJ the last few weeks, but I don't think it's because Hurts is feuding with him. I think it's because it's Saquon's team, and we're running the offense through him. And we haven't needed... Sorry, you can go in a minute.
No, fine.
But there's been so many games this year where there's absolutely no need for the 60-yard bomb to AJ, and if Kellen Moore freaking calls it, I'm going to be pissed. Don't do that. And Hurts has a pretty good deep ball. They have the chemistry. We know this. But, even just on the off chance that one of those is an interception in a game we're controlling, that's annoying. Don't do that. Run the ball, run the clock, win the game. And I feel like that's kind of what we've been doing, and I'm cool with that. Winning is what matters, and that's what's upsetting me with AJ. We're a good team. We are a contender. I don't give a shit about your stats. Why do you care about your stats? It'll come. It will. It always does. You're our guy. He knows that. That didn't change. He's our top passing option. And he's not going to not be. Smitty is a hell of a player, but it's A.J. Brown. He's probably, the best receiver against man coverage in the league. He's a stud. It's frustrating that he needed to voice that. Because it's going to come. We're going to play tough teams. Hell, we play Pittsburgh coming up. There are probably going to be moments in that game where the run's not working or we're going to need to pass. They're a good team. They're going to keep it close. And, yeah, if he was just patient, another frickin' week, I feel like none of this would have happened.
Yeah, we'll see. I see what you're saying about it being Saquon's team and that playing a part. And I'll agree that plays, I think, a small portion of it. There was some other stuff said there. Brandon Graham said about how A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts used to be friends, but it's not the same anymore. And I think that was taken a little bit out of context. I think that was more A.J. Brown was in Tennessee, and they were just friends. And now he's in Philadelphia, and they've got to be friends and teammates. I think is the thing there, and obviously friendships go through ebbs and flows. Yeah. So I'm sure there is that, and it may be heightened by being on the same team. But as I've stated before, I don't think Jalen Hurts is a very good throwing quarterback. I wonder if deep down you can say whatever you can say whatever you want to the media and all that good stuff, but deep down I wonder if AJ is realizing that personally,
Yeah,
that Jalen Brown's maybe not the guy who's going to get him all these great balls. And to a second point there, you were talking about, it's kind of back to it being Saquon's team thing, is AJ Brown has not had 10 targets in a game since week 1. He is, like you said, he got 4 this last game.
Yeah.
And regardless of this being Saquon's team or not, those are unacceptable numbers. Unacceptable numbers.
Yeah.
And I think his real gripe is with those targets going to others when he should be getting a little bit more. It's great to spread the ball around. You got to show defenses that others are a threat, and then you might spread the ball around.
Yeah.
But you have to be getting the ball more to A.J. Brown. He certainly should not have one game this year, regardless of it being Saquon's team, with 10 targets, and that coming in week 1. Since then, not one time. I don't care who your star running back is. You got, there should be more than one game where your top guy is getting 10 targets. So something is, in my opinion, definitely really wrong there. I don't really know what it is. As you said, we really don't know anything about what the beef is.
Right.
They did a great job keeping that part
in-house.
in-house. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
But the fact that there is one.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, it is unacceptable. I will say there are a lot of games where Hurts' attempts are in the low 20s. So I don't know that he should literally get half the targets of the possible opportunities Hurts giving. But yeah, he definitely needs more. And, this was right in front of us for a while that something like this was going to happen. It was a fear of mine. I've talked about it with a few of my friends and stuff, like, AJ's going to freak out. AJ's going to freak out. Because, like you said, it is really unacceptable. And when you look at the film, I mean, the guy's open. And his whole thing is, I'm always open, which is true. I mean,
literally his Twitter handle.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, even when he's covered, you give the guy a chance. And we saw that years past all the time. And, yeah, that has gone away. And, hell, for him to actually be just legit open and not get the ball, it's stupid. And it's annoying. And I've definitely seen it. And to your point about Hurts, I do like Hurts, and I think we can get it done with Hurts. I mean, he literally had one of the best Super Bowl performances ever. So I think that is out of the question. Yes, we can win with him. But he is literally, I think maybe the Lions is the only other better situation for a quarterback to play.
Yeah.
And even then, I think we have the better pass-catching weapons. But, I mean, you have the O-line, run game, and all that, which we don't need to get into that. The point is, he is an amazing situation. For him to have games like this against the Panthers and a few others earlier in the year where he is looking bad, it's concerning. Because he should literally never look bad. He should have good games and great games. And he doesn't. He is good, great, and bad. And bad should literally not exist on this team. You have one of the best O-lines. You have freaking Saquon Barkley. And you have 2 wide receiver ones and a good tight end when he's actually playing. But, it's ridiculous to have bad games with that roster. And he certainly has had them. So, yes, that is concerning. But, yeah, to wrap it all up, you're right. AJ should be pissed. This should have been discussed in-house, though. And, yeah, Hurts needs to step it up because we're not going to play the Panthers the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got that out. That was fun. I'm glad it got out of house because then we could talk about it. I get to really put you on the hot seat talking about drama on the Eagles.
Hey,
really
anything Eagles, I'm ready to spew, man.
I know.
But I'd rather be spewing good stuff and good drama. But yeah, it's a shame.
In some unfortunate news for the Eagles as well, I think Saquon may officially be out of the MVP race with the performance of Josh Allen last week.
Yeah.
Let's go to that game. Bills-Rams. A game the Bills even lose, and I'm still making that statement. They lose 42-44.
I mean, another chunk of history for Sir Josh Allen. First quarterback to ever run for 3 touchdowns and throw for 3 touchdowns in the same game.
Yep.
I mean, this guy is so entertaining to watch. I mean, he's amazing what he can do. It's amazing. You can't stop the guy. I mean, you try and put a spy, it doesn't matter. He'll just make a miss or body him. Like,
Hmm.
he has the ability to outrun guys or run them over, and he can throw it a freaking mile. And this year, he's had a better brain this year. Like, he's protecting the ball a
Yes.
lot better, not trying to do too much, but still do a lot. Like, he
Yep.
really has found the balance. And yeah, I agree. I think I might have even said it in the last episode. But yeah, if it's not going to Saquon or Henry, Josh Allen needs, like, if it's going to a quarterback like we all expect at this point, it's got to be him. It just
Yeah.
absolutely has to.
I mean, I think even on a fair playing field where it's not geared towards quarterbacks, I think this is the year still personally, if I had a vote, would go Josh Allen. I know how important Saquon is to the Eagles. I get it. Josh Allen more important to the Bills in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And that's part of
Um,
why we see the
yep.
quarterback year after year thing. Because, yeah, a
Yeah.
quarterback is more important than a running back.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess even in bad phrasing to drive home the point, but I think even in performance, like I within their jobs, I got to take Josh Allen. I really do. And
even
I
if.
love Saquon. I love
Do you feel
Saquon.
that way even if Saquon breaks Barry's record?
If Saquon breaks Barry's record in week
Yardage. Yeah.
17, maybe I'll
Alright.
change my mind. But he definitely is not going to do that, and he's going to need the extra game. If he even does do it, don't think it changes my mind.
Okay. That is fair. But yeah, to your point, Bills Rams, Josh Allen's great. That game was great. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I hinted at this one, but didn't have the stones to pick it. But yeah, I had a feeling the Rams were
Yeah.
ready for an explosion offensively.
Matthew
And
Stafford
that
and
they did.
Puka certainly
Dude,
did.
yeah. Puka is
Vintage
something else,
Stafford
man.
game.
It was. I mean, his ball placement is just insane. It's like
So
throw
good.
after throw. It could be the most basic throw ever, but it's still like you literally couldn't dream of putting that ball in a better place. But yeah, he's awesome. I was saying to my dad, like, I hope this guy just plays forever. Like, he's getting old, but we know he's like the toughest guy in the NFL, period.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I feel like the will to play and the will to win, I mean, that's clearly all still there. So I hope he just keeps going, man. He is something else. Very
I
fun.
mean, he's taken a Rams team that certainly looked like they were on their way to not having a chance at even making a playoff run by
Yeah.
this point into position to absolutely make a run at a wild card here.
Yeah.
They totally have a chance.
Yeah. They
Um,
do. And I think some of the credit goes to the defense. Tough to say after this week's performance. But
Yes.
yeah. The offense, we knew that was there. If they stay healthy, it's going to be a good offense. I mean, out of my ass, but two top 20 receivers and Kyren Williams, like an absolute stud. And, Stafford, a guy who still
Yeah.
really has it. Like, is he still top 10? Like maybe, but it's towards the back. But I mean, the guy still has it. And yeah, the offense is there. The defense has really impressed me. But yeah, it's a team that could make playoffs. And like you said, it was starting to feel like this team's slipping. Like they won their ring. Now they're going through the motions, coming back down. Got to rebuild, go back up.
Yep.
The roller coaster of the NFL. But he's trying to stop it. He's pumping the brakes as the roller coasters is starting to go down, and Stafford's pulling the e-brake. Throw her in reverse, Terry. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's
okay.
doing all he can.
So I got a question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned a top 10 there. I want to go to a top 3 because I think that's probably undisputed at this point. Before this year, Patty Mahomes would have been unanimous, the top guy. No doubt
Yeah.
about it. I think it was very distant between him and Tua as well. But then you got his down year. He's been better the last 3-4 weeks, but his
Yeah.
down year. And then you got Joe Burrow and Josh Allen going absolutely crazy. How does the top 3 rank? Not just this year. Don't do just this year, I would say, because then I would say Patty is undeniably 3, in my opinion. Maybe you have a different opinion there. But, where do those 3 rank as quarterbacks in the league? You're starting up a new team right now.
Oof.
How do you rank them, 1 through 3?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy for the opportunity. I would take either of them, any of them. I'd be so happy with. Um, yeah, that is a tough question. I mean, and it's tough to not base it off this year because it's
I
all like
know.
so fresh. Like this year, I mean, we already talked about it. It's Josh Allen.
Yep.
But yeah, as a whole career. But I mean, if you're starting fresh and you're getting them, am I getting them at their age now or when like
Yes,
they were
at their age
drafted?
now. Yep.
Yeah, then I'm still going to take Josh Allen.
Okay.
I mean, he's the guy playing the best right now. He can do
Mhm.
everything. He's shown no signs of slowing down. There's not really an extensive injury history. Like Burrow scares me as far as that goes, so I have to rule him out just because of that. And
Burrow's
then
definitely 3 for me.
yeah, and then Patty, like I mean, you said it. He's not looking nearly as good. I think he's very banged up, and I think he's been playing banged up the last 2 years or so. And their runs are so deep into the playoffs every year. This guy's off season is not as long as the rest, and yeah, I wonder if that plays a factor. And yeah, I feel like I can't pick him over Josh Allen with what I've seen. So yeah, there you have it. Allen, Mahomes, Burrow.
Yeah. Interesting. Like I said, coming into this year, I definitely would have been a Mahomes guy. I like
Which
in
even
that
last
scenario.
year, before you go, sorry, even last year, Mahomes like he was good, but it wasn't the Mahomes that we were used to seeing still. Like this decline has almost been happening for numerous seasons, and then on the flip side, you have Josh Allen who just somehow gets better every year, and it's like, how is this guy still getting better? He's so good already. But yeah, I'll take Allen.
No, I think right now I also would have to make that decision, mostly because being a quarterback, Josh Allen's big knock and what did get him in a lot of trouble and why I couldn't have considered him one was the brain.
Yeah.
His decision making on the
Yep.
field, and he turned the ball over a lot. And he has cut that almost entirely out of his game
Yeah.
this year. He has turned the ball over very minimal. It might be less than 5 times so far this entire
Yeah,
year.
that sounds
Um,
right.
So, because of that growth, and that probably won't regress to what it was. It might regress a little bit, but I certainly don't think it'll get as bad as it was previously.
And
Um,
even when it was bad, I feel like he
yeah.
was king of the arm punt.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was very Matthew Stafford in that way.
Yeah.
Is what I would describe
Yeah,
because
that
Matthew
is
Stafford's
fair.
big knock by a lot of people was the amount of picks that he threw. Well,
Arm
one,
punts,
it was he
man.
was willing to take a lot of chances, and because he had to, because he was on the Lions, and because arm punts, just throw
Yep.
it deep, see what happens, take a chance. But yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about one more game from last week. I think.
Okay.
Maybe 2 actually. Let's do the Sunday and the Monday night games. Chiefs, Chargers. We'll start there.
Ugh.
I mean, the Chiefs. The Chiefs. This will probably be pretty quick, but the Chiefs are just inevitable, and they are the king of going and winning in the fourth quarter, and that's why that last question is still tough because I'll be damned in that scenario, fourth quarter down by, we'll say, I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 6, and you need a touchdown to win. Can't just be a field goal or something. I'm taking Mahomes in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
He
I
is
think at
going to
this,
go and win you that game.
Yeah, at this point,
Like-
you're an idiot if you go anywhere
Yeah.
else. I mean, we've seen it how many times, and yeah, a few of these are just get a field goal situations, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking knees and shit to attempt the field goal. Like if they needed a
Yeah.
touchdown, they would have got a touchdown. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're inevitable. Like this is why we've both adopted like, hey, we just can't pick against them at this point.
Yep.
We want to, we just can't.
Bad decisions. But yeah, I mean, another close one. Chiefs come out on top 19-17. Get a little bit of breathing room in the AFC with the Bills taking that loss. I believe next teams are the Steelers and the Bills, both with 3 losses now. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any 2-loss teams in the AFC, right?
No, I
So-
don't think so. Yeah,
so the
that was
Chiefs-
huge for them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that was very big. But Chargers impressed me, honestly. Maybe not the offensive showing they were hoping for, but I mean, they were without J.K. Dobbins now, and the Chiefs' defense, underrated. Steve Spagnuolo is a defensive genius.
Yeah.
So, close game. I think that's what you can ask for out of the Chargers. And honestly, well, We'll see where the rest of their season takes them, but could be a little bit of a danger team, especially
Yeah.
with their defense.
I agree.
But yeah, let's jump to the Monday night. Interesting game. Bengals Cowboys. Micah Parsons visibly frustrated at the end of this game with how it ended, and the Bengals blocking a punt, get the ball back, and then Jamar Chase touchdown to win the game.
Yeah.
That's a tough way to lose right there.
I'm happy for the Bengals, though, man. I mean, this was just.
Are you happy for the Bengals, or are you happy that the Cowboys lost? Let's
It
clear
can't be
that up.
both.
I don't think it is both.
Oh, it's definitely both. Yeah, the Bengals. I mean, how many games this year were they in a situation similar to this, and they lost every single one? And yeah, it was starting to feel like that. It was like, oh boy, like I kind of going into this one, I was kind of feeling a Bengals blowout, like they were just gonna freaking smack them. Like all the frustration of
Yep.
this whole year was just gonna come to a boiling point, and they were just gonna explode. And yeah, that definitely didn't happen, and it was starting to feel like these other games, and the Cowboys were in it. They're right there, and it's like, hey, we've seen the Bengals lose these games all year. They're gonna freaking do it again. And yeah, luckily they didn't. So for that, I am happy for the Birds, and I'm happy for the Bengals. And yeah, I mean, it's always a good day following a Cowboys L. So
It's gonna be so fun when that trash loss you were talking about earlier that the Eagles take every year comes to this extremely crappy Cowboys team. It's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
so funny.
that won't matter. It's just gonna make their draft pick worse. So that's fine. I was even saying that last night. I'm like, obviously, like I can never bring myself to root for Dallas, but I was saying, I'm like, because they were like, oh yeah, so you want the Bengals because it'll help, or because obviously the Cowboys are in your division, you hate them and all that. I'm like, yes, I do, but if we're talking about what helps the Eagles, it's probably the Cowboys winning that. Just hurt your draft pick at this point. You're done. You're not a threat. You're not gonna make playoffs. You're not gonna do any of that. So why don't you just end up, with a higher draft pick and screw your team for next year kind of thing. But, yeah. That being said, could never do it. But in theory, I mean, it's kind of a win-win
Okay.
for the Eagles. They win, it hurts their draft pick. They lose, yay, they lost, we hate them.
Well, I feel like I don't know. I feel like one more loss probably takes you out of contention for the bye. Likely.
Oh, yeah. Well, now, so what? That was their 8th loss, is that right?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the Eagles specifically. But yeah, that was the Cowboys' 8th loss. But I think one more Eagles loss.
Oh, you're saying,
Uh,
okay.
I think if the Eagles lose one more and go to 3 losses, I don't think that they will have a chance at the 1 seed. I think that the 1 seed in the NFC will have 2 losses.
Yeah. I mean, that's likely.
Yeah.
Especially with the Lions only having 1. Like, are they really going to
Yeah.
drop 2 more? Yeah, I don't really see that. And, yeah, with how the Vikings have played too, like, yeah. I mean, I think you're right. But I will take the 1 or 2 seed all day, baby.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. With that, great conversation about last week. That was a lot of fun. But let's
Yes.
move on to our picks for this week, week 15. Let's give a quick summary though about where we're at. So coming into last week, I was up by 4, 5 weeks to go, and we only had one difference. A game we didn't really touch on, Seahawks Cardinals. I went with the Seahawks. Chris with the Cardinals.
No.
So I came out on top there, swinging that to up by 5 with 4 weeks to go. Big difference from 3 with 4 weeks to go, so I was pretty
Yes.
happy with that result. How'd
No.
we get there? I went 9 of 13. Chris 8 of 13. Puts
Yeah.
me at 66.3% success there. Chris, I honestly didn't do the math. I guess I missed one. Let's do that super quick. 133 out of 208 is really good stuff. It's a solid 63.9%. So,
Alright.
still in the same ballpark.
Yeah. And
How's
now
that
bye
compare?
weeks are done, buddy. It's comeback
Bye weeks
season.
are done. No,
More games
I'm
to
worried.
pick.
I'm worried, especially when I was making my picks for this week. I'm
This week
worried
was
we could have a
tough.
very big swing.
Yeah,
Like,
I
really,
think
I
we're going
was
to have
not
some
confident.
differences.
I was not confident in a few of these picks. And normally I feel pretty confident even if I have a bad week. I'm feeling good about my picks. This week is not that story. But really quickly, how do we compare against those ESPN experts right now? I am in a slightly better position than last week. 6-5. And then Chris, slightly worse position than last week. Ahead of 2, behind 8, drawing with 1. So some work to be done these last 4 weeks to improve our standing. And with that, let's make our first pick. Rams, 49ers. A very tough pick.
Yeah.
Right off the rip. I had to go Rams here, though. The way they played against the Bills last week, they looked excellent. The 49ers are just hurt.
I mean, they looked really good, too, though, against the Bears. Absolutely
but Garendo might
them.
not even play. They might
Right.
not even have Garendo, so they're going to be down to RB 5.
4
Literally,
or 5. 5.
yeah,
I keep forgetting about Mitchell.
Yep.
Yeah.
So literally RB 5. Obviously no Ayuk. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And at what point does Juwan Jennings stop and George Kittle? Because let's be honest, Debo's been mostly a non-factor this year.
Right.
At what point is just the two of those not enough anymore when you're going again up against Rams, which, as you said, playing good defense lately, who've got, I'll take Stafford over Purdy in a quarterback battle right now.
Yes.
Those two are close in the current stage of Stafford's career, close, but I'm still taking Stafford. I'm taking Kyron Williams over whoever ends up rolling out for the 49ers.
It might be you. I don't know.
It just might be. I didn't tell you, but I've got a flight booked to San Francisco later. And then I'm taking Puka and Cooper over both of the 49ers' top 2 receivers. So
Yeah.
on paper and in how they've been playing lately, I had to go Rams here.
Yeah. I mean, you said it. And not to bring us back to last week, but, like, just stop freaking Kittle, man. Like, holy crap.
Yep.
It was like, what are the Bears doing? My God. Would have been a complete different game. Just take out Kittle. But, yeah, they didn't. And I'm hoping the Rams do. I also went Rams. They beat the Niners. Like, they just do. It's weird. Like, it wouldn't be surprising at all if they sweep them. I think they swept them, maybe not last year, but the year before. They beat the Niners. Like, it doesn't matter when both teams are good. Like, they kind of have them. I don't know why or how, but they have them.
Yep.
So, yeah, I went
Absolutely.
Rams. Rams are playing better football as of late. Niners, it was literally last week, and then you're talking dumpster fire for weeks beforehand. But yeah, Rams are a hot team right now, and as we saw with the Bills, offense is firing. Yeah, I like Rams.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next game here. Chiefs-Browns. Pretty self-explanatory. We have our rule.
Yeah,
I went Chiefs here.
dude, I almost
Especially
broke the
against
rule.
the Browns, I can't.
Dude, I almost broke the rule. I'm not even kidding. It's just like they're so
And you would have
close to
just
losing.
handed me a game. So
I know.
Are
so
you
I
sure
couldn't-
you don't want to rethink it right now?
No, I'm locked in, Chiefs. But yeah, I was close. I mean, they're just
Honestly,
I don't even know what to
our
say.
difference, our difference, at least 3 of the 5, maybe 4 or 5 of the 5, might be early season. You going against the Chiefs and me going
I
against
know.
the Chiefs. Seriously,
I know.
yeah.
It's gross. It's gross, dude. Them and the Vikings and Chargers and Broncos. Like, those are my teams that keep me
Vikings
up at night.
got me.
Vikings
I
got
did side
you a
with
lot
the
of
Chargers
them, too.
more than you, but
Yeah, and the
I
Broncos
thought
as
of
well.
them highly, more highly than you did from the start of the year, so that makes sense.
Very true.
But
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think I got 3 Chief ones wrong or something. But I did get the one right where they actually did lose.
yeah.
So that felt good. But yeah, I can't be making mistakes like that. This is crunch time. I'm going Chiefs.
Yep. All right, Bengals Titans. I got the Bengals here. Bengals offense really good. Titans offense really not good. Titans defense pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Bengals defense very bad. But when the Titans' offense is as bad as it is and the Bengals' offense is as good as it is, it doesn't matter. I got Bengals here.
Yeah, I went Bengals too, but this one was tough for me. And then, I mean, you look at like your bashing Titans offense, and I agree they are a below average offense. But I mean, we saw them put a shellacking on the Texans, which that's kind of division hoopla, like whatever you want to call
Texans
it.
also been
But
underwhelming though. To be
they
fair,
they have, but they definitely have a better defense than the Bengals.
that's true.
But
This is true.
yeah, you can't really run with that logic too far. So I went Bengals. They're just a better team overall. The offense is that strong that it pulls up their defense quite a bit. Yeah, I have them, and they're grooving now. Did they get a win streak going?
That would be wild. Win out, sneak into the playoffs of the
Oh
seventh seed.
God, they're immediately
I don't
scary
think
then.
so,
Honestly,
but-
even with a horrible
100%.
defense.
100%. Next game up, Commander Saints. Pretty easy one for me, especially with Derek Carr's injury.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he actually going to be out? Because it was his offhand, but I didn't actually see if he was going to be out this week. But I know he broke it.
I didn't either, but I imagine he will. I mean, it's broken, so yeah.
Yeah,
and
so-
irregardless, Commanders coming off the bye week.
Yep.
I mean, I like it. Commanders all the way.
Yeah. Ravens Giants next up. I got the Ravens here. I mean, the Giants are in I want to lose mode, so Ravens
Yeah,
are in
you're
I
not-
really want to win mode.
You said
So-
it, dude. Giants are trying to lose games, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Yeah. No, I think they definitely are trying to lose games. I don't think that's a might.
Yeah.
So, next game up, Cowboys Panthers. This one was tough for me. This one was very tough for me. And I ended up going Panthers here.
Nice.
And I did go Panthers because they've had 3 consecutive really good weeks. They have not won any of them. I know that.
Yeah.
But they played the Chiefs to the brink. They just played the Eagles to the brink. Arguably should have won that one in particular. And then I forget what the team was right before that. I think the Buccaneers. They took right to the brink.
Yes. Yep.
So that's 3 really good games in a row. Bryce Young has come back a whole new man. He looks like a quarterback. I could see him working out in the NFL now. He might not be a killer, but he could absolutely be a very serviceable quarterback, and you did not waste that draft pick if you can keep this up.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier, I think the Panthers know what they need to do with their draft pick wherever they end up. But for this week, I think they win.
Yeah. Yeah, Bryce Young has looked really good. I mean, hell, he was the better quarterback between him and Hurts on Sunday. So, yeah, he's looking good. I do want to say, though, remember, we felt this way about the Bears, too. This close, still haven't gotten that W. But that being said, it's the Cowboys. I'm not picking them. Go Panthers. Keep on pounding, baby.
You had me for a sec thinking that
Yeah.
you were going to go Cowboys, but I was like, no way. No
Yeah.
way.
No.
Admittedly, in a toss-up like that, where I feel pretty confident you're not going to go Cowboys, and I'm leaning Panthers, that really just kind of locks it in for me as well, knowing
Yeah, right.
we would be on the same side. It's not a risk. So that was nice. But up next, we got Jets-Jags. I got
Another
the Jets
tough
here.
one. This was
Yeah.
tough, too.
Tough. Not too tough for me, personally. I found this
It's
one to be
just
a bit easier.
The thing I found with the Jags that is just flabbergasting is their defense can give up like 52 points one week and then they give up 6 the next.
Yep.
And it's just like, are you good or not? Can you please please help me out here? But yeah, I ended up going Jets too. But yeah, definitely a tough one for me because you just never know what Jags defense you're going to get. And Mac Jones honestly hasn't looked as bad as I thought he would. And this is even last week he had 2 picks. I don't think he had a tutty. And he still is impressing compared to what I expected. But
It's
yeah,
true.
ended up going Jets.
Yeah. Lot of parity so far.
I don't like it.
Let's go to the halfway mark here, the 8 out of 16 game. Dolphins-Texans. This one was really tough for me. This one was very tough.
This one's very tough.
Texans, as I've said, they've looked really underwhelming to me. They really have. And ever since Tua came back, those Dolphins are looking quite good on the offensive side of the ball. And with all those factors in, I picked the Dolphins upset the Packers, that was a bit of a reach, cold weather. But Houston is pretty warm. I got the Dolphins winning this one in Houston.
Damn it. I really thought this one was going to be a difference. Yeah, I went Dolphins too. I agree. This is a warm one, a warm weather game. So I think they're looking good. Another good game for Tyreek Hill. That's 2 in a row now. They're just starting to fire. I mean, you can't say enough about what he brings to this team. They're just a complete different team when he is playing quarterback, and
he's earned a lot of respect from me this year. I didn't rate him honestly very highly, but you can just tell how important he is when he went out. So
yeah, I agree. I had him as a middle of the pack kind of guy.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, we've seen it. The Dolphins, they tried numerous different quarterbacks, and everybody else still there, still healthy, and they just couldn't get anything going. Tua is vital to that team, and yeah, he's looking good to suit up on Sunday, so I'm going with the Dolphins.
Yep. All right, up next, Colts Broncos. Two teams coming off of a bye here, both of them coming off some rest. And I ended up going Broncos here. They're at home. Denver is, in my opinion, that's one of the toughest stadiums for away teams to come into because it's at Mile High.
Altitude, yeah.
Altitude, exactly. So I ended up going Broncos here.
Yeah, I went Broncos as well. They're just a better team. I think they're better on offense and defense. So, I mean, the Colts are solid too in their own right on offense and defense. But yeah, I like the Broncos. You said it. They're rested and they're at home, and I just think they're better. So, Broncos.
Yeah, up next, we got my Lions taking on the Bills in Detroit. And I'm going to make you pick this game first.
Sus. Yeah, so going into this, I mean, this one's been marked on the calendar for a lot of people for a while.
Yep.
A possible Super Bowl preview. Because of last week, I went Bills. But when I thought about this game weeks in advance, I was thinking Lions all the way. But because the Bills lost to the Rams, I just feel like they are way too good of a team to drop 2 in a row. And as I've said before, the Lions still an amazing team, but not playing to the potential that they could be. And I feel like the Bills could exploit that. So I went Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with anything that you said there. This one's a real toss-up. As a Lions fan, this one is very tough to pick because they're both excellent, and I could totally see this going the Bills' way. And as you said, losing 2 in a row for a team of that caliber just doesn't happen that often. It happened earlier this year with the Ravens, but it just doesn't happen that often. Even then, we were saying we picked for the Ravens because we just didn't see it.
Yeah,
but
and it was the Raiders too.
Yeah, it was.
That
I ended
helped.
up going. It was the Raiders. That was a crazy game. But I ended up going Lions here. I mean, Lions guy. They're a great team.
Good
and
man.
In a toss-up like that, I just gotta believe. I gotta believe, right?
Good man. I'm glad you
Lions.
picked them, obviously, for us to have a difference, but also because you have to as a Lions fan. How do you go the Bills? But you were scaring me. You were scaring me.
Nah.
These mind games.
Yeah. Steelers, Eagles. I'll go first here. Really tough for me. Very, very tough battle
Another
of Pennsylvania
ridiculous
here.
game to pick.
And based on what you just said to me, I know you went Eagles.
Yeah.
So this will be difference number 2,
Awesome.
as I did go the Steelers. So
Yeah, and I do not blame you at all. The way the Eagles looked last week, I mean, we definitely need to bounce back. Now we have this drama accumulating, like it's scary. We needed to be at our best to beat this team anyway, and now with all this outside shit going down, yeah, this game scares me big time. Eagles up to 9 game win streak now. It's like, how long does that go? Like, that's pretty
Lions at
remarkable.
11.
9 games. Yeah, and same for you. Like,
Yeah,
kind of why I'm
yeah,
picking
yeah.
Bills too. Another little point there for the Bills. But like, it's so hard to win in this league, and to win that many straight. I mean, it's got to come to an end eventually. I'm just really, I got to pull for my boys. I still think we're the better team. Steelers very, very good though. No joke. If we go at them like we went at the Panthers, we're gonna get smacked. Like it's not even gonna be close. So we definitely gotta be better. But I trust our defense. I think our defenses are very similar, and our offense is definitely better than theirs, in my opinion. So I think that's what gives us the edge. But yeah, would not be surprised at all if this goes south for the Birds.
Yeah, I would agree. On paper, you do have the more talented team. 100%
Yeah.
do agree with that.
But you need more than that.
You do. Oh, obviously. You
Right.
saw at the end of last year, Birds were probably 32
Oh my.
out of 32 at
Yeah.
NFL
Yeah,
in
with
terms
one of the best
power
rosters.
rankings. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah. So two differences right there in both of our favorite teams' games. Not surprising we get to this point in the season and you got some really good games going on there.
Yeah.
But up next, we got the Patriots and the Cardinals, and I ended up going Cardinals here. They had a bad week last week, did not play well, and I
Yeah.
think kind of using the same logic we had before, they know they need to turn it on now as well.
Oh yeah.
Like they have to turn it on. So I think they take opportunity of Patriots coming to town and pull out the win here.
Yeah. I mean, you said it. It's time to turn it on. We see how the Seahawks are playing. We see how the Rams are playing. It's go time for the Cardinals. This game scares me though. I also went Cardinals, but would not
I
be
agree.
surprised if the Pats win. They're coming off a bye. They just play every team so freaking tough, and I just feel like they're gonna be in this one.
I
And
kind of
it's gonna
thought
go
you might
either
go
way.
Pats. I thought you might go Pats, especially since the Cardinals spurned you a bit last week. I was kind of expecting it.
Yeah. Well, I went Cards. I'm
happy
expecting a
about
Pats.
that one.
I'm-
This one,
yeah.
this one would have been one I'm afraid of us having. A
Oh
difference
yeah,
on.
yeah, because the Pats could do this.
Yep.
I don't think if the Cardinals win last week, I'm probably more likely to pick the Pats.
Fair.
But yeah, with the way they played, you said it. They looked horrible. They got to bounce back. And like I said, Seahawks and Rams playing so good. It's time for them to turn it on, or they're not going to make the playoffs. So yeah, I think they're going to give her all they got. So we'll see how she goes.
Yeah. Up next, we got the Buccaneers taking on the Chargers.
Another tough one.
Another really difficult one. Yeah.
Should be some
just
good football this week.
time and time again, really close, tough games. I ended up going Buccaneers here. Chargers are playing tough. Their defense is great, but I just believe in Baker right now. I think he can sense the NFC South is really opening up for him with the Falcons' troubles.
Right.
Turn it on a little bit, secure the division, top 4 seed in the playoffs, and you're good to go. Go make a run. I think he wins this week.
Yeah. This one was brutal, man. It really was. But again, the things that helped me decide it are last week. Bucks come out with a win. Chargers do not. Chargers at home. Chargers better defense. I went Chargers. But yeah, this one was. I mean, my gosh, I thought on some of these for literally like 5 minutes apiece. It feels like, and this was one of them. I was very close to going Bucks, but yeah, ended up going Chargers for those reasons.
Very fair. I mean, we're up to 3 differences now, so we're
like it.
starting to cook, and I feel like we got at least one more
Oh,
coming, maybe
dude,
2.
well, the next game, I'll just
Yeah.
go out and say it. Freaking Packers Seahawks.
Yep.
This probably takes the cake for me in a week of so many impossible games to pick. This
Yeah.
is probably number 1 for me. And I ended up going Packers. But
Okay.
I have no freaking clue, man. I really don't. Both teams really hot. Seattle at home, 12th man. But Packers, it's just like, following the Lions' loss, and it's just they're getting separated from the pack a bit. And no pun intended there. But yeah, Vikings, Lions playing great football. You can't take another week off. Like, you have to win this game. It feels more important for them than it does Seattle, which even that could be a load of crap because Seattle needs this game too. The Rams are breathing down their neck, and you got the Cardinals still in contention. Like, this game was impossible to pick, man. But yeah, I ended up going Packers.
I felt all of the same emotions and ended up with the same conclusion. I also went Packers here.
Okay.
I think
that makes me
they
feel
pull
good.
it out.
I'm glad that one's the same. I'd be shitting bricks, man.
That one was very difficult. I think you're right. That probably was the most difficult. I'll be honest, I really stewed on Steelers-Eagles for quite a bit as well. I really did stew on that one for a
Oh,
moment.
yeah. To pick that one without a bias, that would be tough.
Yeah, that one was tough. But yeah, moving on, we got two more. Let's go Bears-Vikings here. Is this the week the Bears finally break out of the rut? Do the Vikings finally drop a game? Do they look like last week and the Bears have no chance? What'd you think?
I ended up going Vikings, but I know the Bears are going to win now. So
I'm glad you say that because I went Bears.
You did? Okay.
I believe.
Okay. That is awesome. Yeah, this was tough, again, and it really shouldn't be when you look at the records and all that, but, I mean, it was tough for the same reasons you ended up picking Bears. I mean, it's division game. Bears have been so close for many weeks. They had last week where they just got absolutely embarrassed. But, you get another week in the new system. I mean, they've gone through so many changes, like, it's not surprising to me that they got shellacked like they did last week. Even though I expected, because, I mean, it's a coin flip. You either get the spark from all the changes or you get the, holy shit, nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what we got last week. Hopefully with another week, they look a lot better. But, yeah, Vikings are just, oh, man. I just can't pick against them. And it's like, it's going to be really funny when the Bears frickin' win, dude. Yeah. It's going to be hilarious. But yeah, I have to pick Vikings.
No, that's fair.
I can't keep picking the Bears every week because they're close.
No, it's totally fair. I feel like I really am going more off the Vikings here. I guess I'm thinking last week was maybe a bit of a purple patch. And
yeah, they come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, their current rut, and they just come back down to earth a little bit. But yeah, that's fun. We're up to 4. Will we get to 5 on this last game? 2 Monday night games, by the way. Bears-Vikings is a fun one. I also think we might, because I really debated going both directions here.
Oh, yeah.
Falcons-Raiders. Where'd you end up, sir?
I ended up Falcons. But yeah, would not be shocked if you went Raiders. I was very close to going Raiders. I mean, we said it earlier when we were recapping the Falcons last week's game. Yeah, they're just collapsing. Kirk looks terrible. There's talks of Penix coming in and all kinds of stuff going down now. And, locker room's just in a bad place. But all that being said, they're still in it, man. I mean, you got the Bucs playing the Chargers this week. Chargers win that. Falcons win this. I mean, we're right back where we were, and actually the Falcons would be in first place because they swept the Bucs. So, yeah, I just don't think... I think there's a little bit of overreaction going on there. I think you're still in it. Don't freak out. Don't pull Kirk. Like, just, stick to your guns. I mean, Kirk has looked terrible, but he has also had games this year where he's the reason they won. Yeah. So, I'm thinking a bounce back. I mean, now the pressure's on. You think Kirk's not hearing all this outside shit? Like, he's hearing it. He knows it's time to show up, and I think he does.
Yeah. I also went Falcons. I thought we were going to, because I thought you were going to go Raiders as well.
Yeah, I was close, dude. Yeah. I was close.
Like, Max Crosby and that defense has been playing some really excellent ball these past few weeks. Last week, withstanding a little bit The Bucks kind of tore through them, but before that, they've looked great.
I just realized too, if we see Ritter, revenge game.
True, I did not think about that, but that factor, Aiden O'Connell being out, I think is what made the decision for me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's
I
a big
just-
drop off.
Yeah,
O'Connell
I
to
don't
Ritter.
think you can go to your third string quarterback on a team that already had the worst quarterback room in the NFL, probably.
Right. And other
Um,
issues, major
yeah.
issues.
Yeah, exactly. And win many games, if any at all. So I had to go with the Falcons with that logic. I really did.
Yeah, that is fair. What a tough week, man. So
Wow.
many games were absolutely brutal. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out.
4 is a fun one. We could get really close, but you can't quite tie it up even if you sweep. So let's oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be so
I would
fun.
love a sweep. I'd be over the moon with a sweep, dude. I'm not expecting sweep. I'll take a 2-2 split at this point. We'll try again next week.
Yeah, move it to next week. Yeah, that's fair. We got a lot of division games, a lot can happen. But
Yeah.
with that, we wrap up yet another episode of Palm City Chucks talking football. My gosh, this was a fun one right here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a ton of fun. It was also a long one. So if you're listening, we really appreciate it. We want you to know
Yes,
that. We
thank
appreciate
you.
y'all. Please like, subscribe, leave your comments. Let us know what you think. And we'll be back at you next week.
Later, PCC.